Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Good morning, Ted, and how are you?
Doing great, doing great. We just want to
Yeah.
welcome our audience this morning with the Money Connection and program we do every Saturday. We try to bring some information to you. Hopefully you enjoy it and get engaged. Ed, we got a lot of things going on this morning, man. What's going on?
Oh, my brother, my brother, my brother. We have, oh, there's a lot of things going on, and I'm pretty sure our audience is going to be well enlightened about what we found out there in the world of money and finances and politics and everything else, and what other people are doing around the country to be able to access that money that is available to our communities. We have a lot of things that are going on that is happening around there, and people who are aware. There we have a Congress and a Republican Congress and a Republican who was in charge of the White House, and greed has risen its ugly head, and it is getting uglier by the minute. Absolutely. That tax plan that they got going, and tax cut plan they got going on, buddy, it is totally disastrous, and it is going to hurt a lot of poor people. And it's going to enrich people who are already rich, billionaires who are going to make even more money, which is just horrible. And then for them to turn around and say, we're helping the middle class, that's an hypocrisy. And I'm hoping that there are people out there who can see through this mess that is going on. And it's just, Ted, it is so disturbing, man, that we have a government out there and people who are out there who are just heartless and stuff, or people who are in need of resources and stuff to help them through. Now, I know that over the past years, we've had a Congress and a government and stuff who are always given to the poor, and they making sure that they've gotten over and that they've gotten help. And now, all of a sudden, nobody needs any more help. They need to stand up on their own 2 feet. Well, there are still people who are coming out there who are poor, who need help and stuff from the government. And for them to just throw them into the garbage is just horrible. And there's no reason and stuff for them to do that. And I'm looking at now our CHIPS program, which is our children's health insurance program, has expired. And the children's health insurance program takes care of children, making sure that they have health care. Children who can't help themselves. These are children. Yeah. And the government and stuff is just throw them in the garbage. They don't need any health care. So what happens if they have to go to the doctor? What happens if they get sick? They just throw them in the garbage because they don't. Well, their parents can't afford it. Yeah.
Aren't there? It's something like anywhere between 5 to 7 million of them children that's on that program.
There's probably more than that. There's probably more than that. Yeah, there's more than that. And what is going on is that their parents cannot afford health care at all. But as long as their children can get health care, it helps them. It relieves them. It relieves the pressure off them going to work, that they knowing that they have health care for their child. So if they get sick, they can take them to the doctor. Now, their parents can't afford the health care, but at least their children can have it. And they don't care. And it has expired in October. And the only thing that they're concerned with now is passing a tax cut plan for billionaires. It's just...
Yeah, we don't know where they're going with this whole budget situation, because the fact is that they owe money to these millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires. And these billionaires want a tax cut. They want They want to keep as much money as they can. That's the bottom line. And both parties, really, to be quite honest with you, is they're not, you don't hear a whole lot on the Democratic side. They're some of them are hollering and screaming, but for the most part, this stuff should be really, it should be, really crying out to the highest mountaintop, because
Absolutely.
because it's going to be a lot of people now. They trying to delay it. To my understanding, they want to delay some of these tax increases to the middle class. They're talking about 10,000 to 75,000 going to get an increase in taxes. Now you're making $10,000 a year. What kind of crap is that? You're going to increase a person's taxes and they're only making $10,000. That is crazy. And the people that's in that category is probably mostly students or maybe retired people or people that, working part-time, just want a few extra dollars in their pocket.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at it, and they're rushing this thing through both houses of Congress because they don't want the people to really understand what they have done. And from what I've been hearing, they're doing a lot. This thing is going to take away from Medicare, which takes care of the health for the senior citizen. It's going to take away a lot of things that they are hiding and stuff, and they don't want you to know it. And they're doing this and stuff to pay for these tax cuts. And even though they're going to be paying for some of those tax cuts that these billionaires are going to be getting, it's still going to increase our national debt to the tune of $1.5 trillion.
$1.5 trillion.
$1.5 trillion. So they're saying if they can keep this tax cut that they're giving away to $1.5 trillion of debt, then it's okay. I don't understand what's going on, Ted. I really don't. I don't understand how their theory of what's going on. Now,
well, I can look on the other side and just here's what they're thinking. Just because the GDP went up, 2.4%, something like that. 3.2. So they figured that it's going to double that because, it's going to be some growth. There's no doubt about that because money is going to be freer. People will be able to open up business and expand, but it's going to be on a real small scale, but it's going to be enough where you're going to see some changes as far as financial, but that's only temporary because inflation is always going to take over.
Absolutely. And then what's going on, Ted, that they're saying that these tax cuts are supposed to drive business and everything. Well, most of these small business and stuff, owners and stuff, or people who hire 10, 20 people and everything, and that's the maximum amount of money that they can hire. They are the ones and stuff who are filing these taxes and stuff and everything, who are making that between that $10,000 and $75,000 a year salary. Once they pay their employees, that's how much they're going to make as a small business owner. Well, their taxes are going to go up. So they're actually not helping small businesses. They're not helping those middle class businesses or whatever, people who are in that lower thing. Now they're helping the corporations and they're helping the billionaires and stuff who are out there buying property, like our president Trump and all the other folks out there who are making billions and billions of dollars, and they don't need the money. If you can't live off $1 billion, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't.
And why you want to continue to make more money? I don't know. It's just horrible.
Well, they owe people, man. The thing is that a lot of these billionaires, in my opinion. But before I get on that, I just wanted to touch on what you just said. If you, the other day, I was listening to a program, and they had this guy from Arkansas on, and he's a chicken farmer. He claims that he had started out as 17 people. Now he has 1,700 people now. Mm-hmm. Okay, now he progressed from the time he started. Now he's got 1,700 people. Mm-hmm. He wants to expand to another one. So now he's for this tax cut because he has all his ducks in a row. He has his corporation, his S corporation. He has his LLC, and so therefore, the monies that he's borrowed, he will get more back, because if that tax goes down for him and he gets paid a certain amount of money from his S corporation, he won't be paying, you know, they're trying to eliminate the state taxes and income tax. So therefore, he's going to have more money. His corporation is going to have more money because they're going to be paying less tax. He claims that he wants to open up another facility in another city and hire another 800 people. So from a small business point of view, if they have everything right, because, you know, you got millions of people that's just got what they call doing business as, you know, they just one person organization. They're not incorporated. They don't have an S corporation or a C corporation or anything like that. What they have is just basically, you know, a regular, you know, doing business as, or they might have LLC. But you got to have, in order to take advantage of all those taxes, you got to make sure that you're set up right if they drop those corporate taxes down. But the thing is, that means they're not putting more into the coffer. They're betting on that a lot of these people are going to expand, but you can only expand so much.
Absolutely. And the hypocrisy, though, Ted, all this, what you were saying is good, that they have some businesses out there who need those cuts and stuff to do that. But what they're doing and stuff in their Congress, they're not only doing giving tax cuts and everything, they're taking away from different people. What does taking $10 billion away from Medicare have to do with giving this business a tax cut? What does giving our children health care has to do with this man's tax cuts? They have thrown in this word tax cut, and they've taken it and they're devastating the other parts of our economy. There are people out there who need to have those things, and even including the people who are working at this gentleman's company. He's got 1,700 people there, and I'm pretty sure that he's not paying them anywhere near minimum wage, or he may be paying them a little bit more than minimum wage. These are those people in that $10,000 to $75,000 range that are going to receive a tax increase to help pay for what he is getting.
Right, and then the fact is, can they afford even purchasing health care? I bet you he's not. You know, he didn't say anything about that he was paying for their health care.
You know he's not.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword. But one of the things that you were talking about when we was going our pre-production, you was talking about Richard Engel. I missed that show last night. But tell me what happened. What did he say?
Well, MSNBC put it on like it was going to be a blockbuster show and everything, that it's going to show a lot. Well, it wasn't actually something that was what they did and stuff was not really actually a blockbuster thing. All it was telling us and stuff how Trump has taken his name and sold his name. He has a brand called Trump, and his brand is worth a lot of money. And he has taken his brand outside of this country, and he's taken it and given his name to some of these countries and stuff who are using his brand to launder drug money, illicit money.
What?
Oh yeah, but what he is doing is not illegal. It's not a crime. And because his name is out there and they're using his name to do things and stuff, then all they're doing is paying him to have his name on the side of their building. They have in different countries and stuff and everything, like oh man, there's about 4 or 5 countries and stuff out there. Panama, Argentina, there's some countries in the Southeast or whatever. They are using, they have built huge Trump plazas and everything, big, beautiful hotels and everything. And his name is sitting on there, Trump Hotel. And they have something like 4,000 or 5,000 different condominiums or rooms and stuff inside these big hotels. And what has happened is that there are the crooks and the gangsters and the mafia, the Russian mafia, the any mafias going on out there, drug dealers or whatever, they're buying these big buildings. They're buying these condominiums, and they're taking and they're buying the condominiums. And what they're doing is they're buying the condominiums with cash money.
Yeah.
They're getting a deed and everything for the condominiums, and then they turn around and sell the condominiums and stuff and everything, and then they take that money and they're supposed to be wiped clean.
And then what they do is then they buy other properties and
inside that building,
they buy their yachts and all that because they've sold and made money legitimately by
using Trump's buildings, and he is building these buildings and stuff. They can't prove that he is doing it because of this. You know, he's kind of gotten himself into that
that's that template.
Land. Yeah, in that no man's land where I don't know who these people are. All they're doing is just buying these properties. And they're in these foreign countries. And we don't have anything to do with what goes on in these foreign countries as far as what they do. And they have governors and mayors and stuff in these cities and these towns and stuff, the presidents of these countries or whatever, they're going to jail because they're doing something illicit, but they're making millions of dollars. People are making millions of dollars. The people who are selling these properties and stuff and everything, they are selling them for Trump and his daughter, Ivanka Trump, and his sons. They're still out there doing this stuff, and they're constantly building these things in these different countries, and they're making money off of his name.
Yeah, I mean that's the template that he used in what is it, Manhattan or wherever he's at. That Trump Tower is in New York.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, that's the same template he's been using that same templates. And so anyway, the thing that I can't understand is it's amazing how certain people can get away with certain things, and at the same time, you know, you have the small person that tries to do that or do something to enrich themselves. Hey, they knocking down doors.
Yeah,
they coming in and they taking all your assets and everything else, you know, because they know they already got the paper trail. Mm-hmm. They already got the paper trail with Trump with 45.
And then what is going on is that he is putting together a template. And people out there are, other countries and stuff are looking at this. And we used to be a country of morality, a place where, you know, come to our land and to be free. Well, he is putting a black mark out there on our country as being the president. He is a symbol of illegal work. That is not, it's not illegal, but it looks bad that he is harboring this stuff, and he is not. He doesn't open his mouth and say what's going on. All he says is that I can't control who buys these properties. You know, he's hiding his hand, and he's collecting millions and millions and billions of dollars and everything by doing this. And his children, Ivanka, Donald Jr., the other boy, and everything, all of them and stuff, know what's going on. They're in charge of this stuff, and they're coming down to these countries and stuff and telling these countries and stuff, we can put these buildings and stuff here. We're going to create jobs and stuff in your country and everything by building these huge complexes or whatever, these glorious places, and people can be able to come here and do things. But they are taking it, and he's almost hand in hand dealing with crooks and thugs and stuff and everything, and drug dealers, or however they want to call them, and making money, putting it in his pockets and enriching himself, and then wiping his hands and say, I'm clean.
Well, you know, the underworld, you know, that's one of the forms of capitalism, you know, the under the table, you know, undercover capitalism, where you can make money, you know, selling body parts, you can make money, stripping down cars. You can make money, funneling money into condominiums. You can make money in prostitution, the underworld, drugs,
child care, imprisoning people and stuff, and making them slaves or whatever, and using them for your own benefit.
Billions and billions of dollars. And a lot of these big time, crime syndicates, they already know all that. They know, they already know how much money they can get and what money they're bringing in. But it's a funny thing that you mentioned a word, which is one of my words for the day. You mentioned morality. And my word is morals. My word for the day is morals. And I want to here's the definition: relating to or concerned with the principles or rules of right conduct, or the distinction between right and wrong, ethical, moral attitudes, expressing or conveying truth or counsel as to right conduct. See, when I look at that, and morals, you have these people. One thing I can't understand, you got these people that's supposed to be moral people that voted for him, 45. And a lot of these other people, just like we know what's going on right now today. You might want to talk about that because you're more political than me, because this Moore guy that's going on, that all of this sexual craziness is going on. I mean, the guy, a lot of people are calling him a pedophile, and it's, and it seems like to me a lot of that stuff is just, this sexual thing has just gotten out of hand when it comes to everyday life with a lot of people in the business world.
You're talking about sexual harassment by politicians. And it has come to light now that there are a lot of our politicians out there who are sexually harassing women and stuff out there in the political world. And we're finding out that this candidate and stuff for, excuse me, for the Senate there in Alabama, who's taking over, who wants to take Jeff Sessions' seat there in the Senate. The gentleman and stuff, his name is Roy Moore. And he won the primary nomination and stuff over a candidate that was backed by Mitch McConnell and also backed by President Trump. And he has been over the years, he has been a quote unquote wild card for different morality issues. And he has refused to, on several occasions, the Constitution has said that there's legal for them to pass out marriage certificates and stuff for gay people. Well, he has refused to do this in his position and stuff there in the state. And there are people there in the state who are the more right, who have championed him because he has taken those stands, even against the Constitution and against the judge's orders and stuff. He has done that. Well, he won the nomination for running for the Senate seat there, like I said, for Jeff Sessions. Well, Mitch McConnell, who is the Senate Majority Leader, does not want him to have that seat. But he is in a catch-22 and stuff now because of how the laws and everything for electing special elections and stuff are made. And really, the Republicans and stuff, the Republican National Committee has said after this came out that he had been, quote unquote, maybe pedophile children when he was in his 30s. And these kids were like 14, 15 years old. And they have came forth now and said that he tried to harass them. He did things and stuff to them. And so now, because of this coming out, they're asking him to resign so they can put a candidate in there so the Republicans can keep their seat, because they have a very, very, very thin majority to pass any legislations that they want to pass. If they lose that seat, it means that they can only have one vote in the Senate and stuff that will allow them to be able to enact their laws or whatever that they want to do. So they're sitting there trying to say he needs to resign. But then, in essence, we're turning around and already we find out, well, even before he was elected, that there were women and stuff who have said that our President Trump have harassed them. And there are 17 women who have came forth with allegations of sexual harassment and stuff by our President Trump. There's also a audio out there of President Trump saying that he grabbed women's private parts. He said it in his own words. But when you speak of his morality, everybody is quiet. But
Yes.
when you speak of Roy Moore's morality, then he needs to resign. And now you're having other people who are coming out saying, Al Franken, now we find out a woman have came forth and said he sexually harassed her before he became a senator and everything. He was out on a tour, and there was a woman and stuff that he grabbed and he squeezed her behind and forcibly put his tongue down her throat and all this other stuff. Well, Senator Al Franken from Minnesota came forth and said, I apologize. He admitted that he had done that. And he did not, for whatever reason, he is saying that he did not mean to sexually harass the lady and some of the things that he had done to her, because they have a picture of him with her sleep and he had his hands either on or putting it close to this woman's breast. And the picture is out there. And he is saying that it was a joke, that she was asleep and they were having a joke. Well, it is that's that morality issue and stuff that comes back up again. You say, hey man, you being a person of moral constitute or whatever, and you were talking about other people, and now it came to light that you have done these things too and everything, it makes him look bad in the light out there. But what the Democrats have done, they have came forth, all of them, to the person and said that we need to either do something or investigate what the heck happened and what's going on and see if they can censor him or whatever and stuff for what the heck he has done. But when they come to the president, there's no censorship there at all. And as a president now, Trump thinks he can get away with this stuff. He thinks that it's okay. And you have news people out there, and like we talked about earlier in the conservative media, that you have folks out there that are saying that, well, these women and stuff now, because they were girls and stuff when he did this, when Roy Moore did this, they're telling the truth. But the 17 women out there now who says that Trump did this, they're lying. So,
well, the thing is, we know that these people, like this has been going on for decades and decades and decades. And unfortunately, I worked in the corporate world, and I tell you, I didn't see a lot of it, personally, but I'm sure it happened, but the thing is, no one, I'm talking about male, female, children, anyone should be sexually harassed or feel uncomfortable in their daily lives. It's just like, I learned years ago when I was a teenager, when you see a pretty girl, you driving down the street and you don't be whistling at her and catcalling her and hey baby and all that kind of craziness. That makes, you don't realize that makes a woman something else. Now, I'm not saying some girls, might like that attention, but I don't think in today's standards, back in the 50s and 60s, it seemed like, that was the way of life. That's how you picked up girls. You tell them how beautiful they are, how fine they look, and you have a conversation. And maybe you might get a conversation or I'll tell you to back off.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, but just to force yourself on someone, I can't see that. To me, to just grab on a person like that and stuff like that, that's, you're taking advantage, not only physical contact, but as far as just, you know, and if you're in a person of power and position, you know, you can fire that person or let them go, and, you know, their career is in jeopardy. That's not fair. But see, the thing is that you have a lot of so-called, I just heard on TV this morning, you have a so-called preacher that's in Alabama saying he's still going to vote for it.
There are people who said they're going to vote for him, just like people voted for Trump when they knew what he had done. They heard that video, that audio before he was elected. They still voted for him. Yeah, so the morality in this country, Ted, is just, I mean, over the years and stuff has just gone down. And what has happened is that they feel that if you have something that is worth value to them, it doesn't matter what that person and stuff does, as long as he has value for them, personal value. And that's how the Congress and stuff is treating Trump.
It's all about me.
It's all about me. Yeah.
That's that Ayn Rand attitude.
Yeah. And before he was even elected president, most of them had said, "Oh no, we don't want him." But as soon as he becomes the president, people voted for him to be president, then everything he did is okay. Or what they're doing, just like Mitch McConnell did when he was interviewed, when you talk about Trump, he doesn't say anything. He's conspicuously quiet. And he knows that what this man has done is wrong. But because he sees some value in him, that he can get something from this, then it's okay for it to happen. So shut your mouth and don't say anything.
Not only is he getting something, he's got a wife that's working in the cabinet. So he already getting something. Like $200,000, you know, $200,000 in his pocket.
You don't hear very much about her either and everything, because I remember several right after he became elected and stuff, he brought her there on stage and was doing some very immoral things, and she sat there on the stage with him and everything and smiled about it.
Yep.
I can't remember what it was, but I know that I can't remember all the details, so I won't say anything about it, but it was something immoral. And she, his wife, Miss Chu, her name is Elizabeth Chu. She, that's Senate Majority Leader's wife, McConnell's wife. She was the Secretary of Transportation, I think. And
that's right.
Yeah, she was on stage there with him and everything. And he said something very immoral and everything. And she got smiled about it, that it was okay because it was of value to her and to her husband. So she couldn't say a word. So, but it takes people, Ted, to speak up, just like you were saying. I think that this is wrong. The Democrats have spoke up and said, "Al, you were wrong for what you did." And I just saw an article and stuff this morning when I got up, because I'm an avid reader, and I saw that the senator from New York, Gilbride, her name, Gillibrand, she is a very powerful senator and stuff. She took over for Hillary Clinton. And she came forth and everything today in a interview and said that President Clinton should have resigned. And it has created a firestorm there with the Clinton family and their dynasty that's going on out there, that she has said this. And I don't know what's going to come of it, but she has opened up a hornet's nest and stuff out there in the Democratic Party. But because of this sexual harassment thing that is going on, I guess sometimes you have to reach back and say somebody was wrong.
Well, here's the deal. They already been paid out in the last, 20-something years, $15 million to that type of situation. And then you have two people right now that is, which is, they got it under wraps, that's been charged with this. So that they work for the public, they work for the people, the American citizens, so they should have been exposed. And we don't know when this happened and what happened, but that's the whole thing. And especially when you're working for the federal government. But talking about morality, one of the things that we got a segment called Over Here, Over There, which is sort of keeping our eye out on the things that's going around the United States and all these disasters and situations that's happening, we sort of kind of forgot a country, Haiti. Now it's my understanding that Haiti, over 200,000 plus people have died in Haiti. They still have pretty close to about a third of their people still, they're basically living in squalor. But the big issue is here, the American people gave and contribute almost $15 billion. And that's not even counting the funds that was received from the United States government. So now I tried to do some research on it, and you got all kinds of people that's saying that this happened with that money, or this is happening with this money. Money is being trickled down. But the one thing that I read an article by, I got his name here somewhere, but the guy he said that there are people that's volunteering, and they did something like 9,000 houses and just money that they've gotten to contribute to help people. But the Red Cross received something like $500 million from the American people. They have built 6 houses. So now I'm trying to figure out what is going on. And the thing about it, you don't hear a lot about Haiti and the things that they're going through. A lot of people died of drinking bad water. A lot of people are, going hungry. Now they're still, basically feeding people. What's the famous actor's name that's out there? He contributed a lot. One of their own did it, Ratcliffe.
Yeah, he's a singer.
He's a singer.
Right.
And he collected something like $16 million for his project. So it's a lot of things going on with those people, and nobody's talking about that, and they're still suffering. So the American people, of course, that's not our country, and what have you. So therefore, okay, they make it the best way they can, and we did a high humanity thing, and that's it, and it's over. But they're suffering. They have no connection to anything or anybody. I mean, money was sent to them all over the world to help them. People came in from all over the world to try to help them, and they just, their independence is sort of kind of out the door now. Somebody's going to come over and take over that country eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that, I had doing some quick research here on the internet about Haiti and stuff, and that earthquake happened in 2010. Here it is 2017, 7 years later, and it's still in bad shape. And some of the things that happened to that country and that is still going on with that country is devastating because it's such a small country and so many people that died all of a sudden. They had to have mass graves and stuff to bury all these people. There were so many of them. Mm-hmm. And none of them got a headstone or anything, but those things are just horrible. And the fact that there were so-called goodwill organizations and stuff out there who just took the money and put it in their pockets and it never got to the people and stuff there in Haiti. You have the Clinton Foundation, who was in charge of several $1 billion and everything that was supposed to have went to the people there in Haiti and everything, and nothing was done of it. And because of what happened in Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti, when the earthquake hit, the whole government fell. because the house that the government was residing in and everything, it collapsed.
Yep.
And was all messed up. So even the president of the country and everything didn't have a place where he can govern at all. And where it's at and stuff right now, nobody's, like you said, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. And now we're finding out what's going on in Puerto Rico and everything. Looks like it's going to have the same effect that they have in Haiti. They're it's heading in that direction, because right now the storm, the hurricane that came through there and everything has devastated Puerto Rico. But it's been a while since it happened, and you see now that it's gone out of the news cycle. And so once it's out of sight, out of mind, they say, that's what's going on. And it is a horrible thing that what happened in Haiti and stuff. And people, when you start talking about Haiti, they don't, oh, well, what? They should be all right. They're not in the news. Well, they can't, because there is no disaster and stuff. They did have a hurricane again that came through there and touched Haiti and stuff, but the place is already was devastated. So if you have a hurricane that comes through and tears up a few of those shanties that they have, it's no big disaster. So that country and stuff right now is sitting there being exploited. And I'm pretty sure that there are gangsters and thugs and thieves and stuff now who have invaded the country, and they're using their monies and stuff and everything to do what the heck they want. And we have to realize and stuff that when these things and stuff happen, and you have a breeding ground for unscrupulous people, it eventually is going to come back and bite you if you don't do something about it.
Absolutely.
You are corrupting an entire country. Yep. And Puerto Rico is getting ready to head through the same thing. Eventually, they're going to be corrupted because the illegal money is going to come through there, and they are going to control that country.
And people are about surviving, and they'll do anything to survive.
Absolutely. They will do anything to survive, whether it's illegal money or good money. They're going to try to survive because they have to eat. They have to have basic living agreements or whatever. And speaking of over here, over there, next week and stuff, when we have our thing about over here, over there, we're going to talk about South Africa. There are
that's some heavy stuff there.
There are some devastating things going over there in South Africa. And man, it is just, you are not going to believe, our public is not going to believe what's going on and stuff there. I mean, it's just unbelievable what is happening there in South Africa. And nobody is really saying anything about it because there is so much other stuff going on, and they have not gotten into the news. But the people over there, the crooks and thugs is taking over in South Africa.
One of the things, that seems like a trend all over the world now, because so many people, has been greedy. I call it greed. They're just so greedy for money. They'll do anything to keep their money because, if they're not making 150, 200,000, 300,000, even millions of dollars, now billions of dollars, they're not happy. They're not satisfied. And so, hang the person that's trying to make a living and be content and be happy with their family, a family of 2, 4, or a family of 6, and just live a normal life. You understand? Mm-hmm. But some people want to live this big time gaudy life. They got to have the biggest house, the latest cars, all the gadgets, and the materialistic things. But one of the things that that I think that I really wish we could do is for the people out there is start attacking each city and finding out what each city is doing. One of the things that I found out just here in the Tampa Bay area, you got a group of Black men that are out there that's doing some things, and I wish and I'm hoping that they'll do a template on it, because what they're doing is they're contacting the top 20 corporations and finding out their hiring policies, why they're not hiring. They look in there and see what kind of ratio of minorities that they have in their corporations. They're looking at universities around their neighborhood around the area. You know,
let me ask you a question, Ted. Can you go back just a little bit, step back in what you were saying a little bit, and tell the audience and stuff why these men came about and what sparked them to do what they're doing?
Well, the reason why is because a lot of these people, say for example, USF, they might have a budget for contractors or for small businesses to do business with them, and they went in and they found out that they, out of that, $500 million or whatever the budget is, or millions and millions of dollars, they only receive in the urban areas, small businesses, 0.001% of that money that's coming in that they're spending. They're spending with other people, even outside the county or in other people, but they're not getting that money. They're not getting their fair share of the funds. And so therefore, what they've done, they've come up with a strategy to go in professionally, not go in there arguing and hollering and scream, going in there, even though it's, you want to do that, of course, you're saying, well, if you look at this section or part of the sector that they're trying to do, like food, you have companies that sells the university all kinds of food. You have companies that service all kinds of things as far as upkeep, all kinds of contracts that's out there. But it seems like the black businessman can't get any of those dollars. And when you can't get any of those dollars, then that means you can't hire other people. You mean, you can't expand your business. So you're not getting your fair share. And then at the same time, you get someone else that comes in and they get a $25 million contract, they hiring all kind of people. And they're making all kind of money. So this is a thing that I think, just putting it out there, people should take a look at their city, look at their top 10, 15, 20 businesses and those organizations that's out there, find out how come a lot of people are not being hired. Because I remember, man, when I worked in advertising for a major newspaper in LA, I used to have to go to these departments, like the manager of marketing and manager, the person that's handling their advertising dollar. And they would have to walk me through all kinds of areas before I got to their office. And I walked through there, man, you don't see a black person in that office, in that whole building, and then you might see one person out of all of those employees. So what I'm saying is a lot of times, people are just not hiring black people. We get the government jobs, the state jobs and all of that type of thing. But if you go into corporations and you look, there's not a lot of us in those corporations. And a lot of these corporations are not hiring us, and they're just throwing away the applications.
Absolutely. Because this is part of what you're talking about now is part of our thing about engagement.
Yes.
And that's how these gentlemen and stuff really understood what was going on. They got engaged. They were proactive in what they were doing.
Absolutely.
They went to these board meetings and stuff of these political groups and school boards and the other places and stuff out there where they go into the board and stuff. When your city council and stuff has a meeting and stuff, you need to go to those meetings and stuff and find out what's going on. Because if you are not proactive and stuff in finding out what's going on, you don't know.
Right.
So you have to become engaged. I mean, we need our community and stuff to become engaged. And we're not talking about going out and marching. We're talking about going out there and informing yourselves in your communities and stuff about what is going on, where these monies and stuff are going to.
And a lot of times that money is public record. When it comes to when you're getting federal money, state money, that kind of thing, you can look it up. and you can find out how much money is coming into their coffer. And, so it's taxation without representation, because, if you don't get the monies to redevelop your community, it's just going to go down. And there is money that's there for that, but you got to get your fair share. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah. So, but again, I want to repeat, tell our audience, you get involved, go out there and vote and get involved and go to your board meetings or whatever. You can't go to every one of them, but if as a group, you can come together and stuff, and you can say, have any of you all's particular meetings or whatever you bring together in the community or your block club. You can have different folks and stuff coming in there, and then you have
know your stuff.
Say a monthly meeting and stuff. So okay, you go to the school board, you go to the city council, you go to the county board, and you go to all these other boards and stuff and everything, and then come back and bring to us what you found out. What is going on? Where is it that we can access capital?
But here's the thing that, what you're saying is absolutely right. And here's the thing that a strategy, I don't know if people are doing this or not, but, like you take your local organizations, small nonprofit organizations, 25 kids that's looking for a job. And basically, any job would do, I just want to make some money while I don't have to be on the street or whatever. And they all applied for the same job. And none of them get the job. That's a discrimination. It's 10 jobs there, none of them get the job. To find out who got hired, go there and find out who got hired some kind of way, because see, now that equal opportunity thing, it's out the window now. You can forget about it. They can care less. You fill out the application online and it's gone. They don't even look at it. Half of them, they look at your name, they look at your zip code. Most of the time, they don't even look at it. And they say they're looking for good people. But it's a lot of good people out there that want to work. But sometimes you got to train them. And usually, most of these corporations, you got to be trained anyway for the job. All you got to do is be willing to work. And once you learn the job, and there you go. But that's a whole nother animal right there.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of things going on out there, Ted, and I see our folks and stuff out there, and the Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff and everything going on, and the public and stuff now have become insensitive and stuff to people who are out there marching, because they know that all this is going to be a reactionary thing, and all they got to do is hold out for a little bit, and they're going to be going away. So we have to be proactive in other areas that is going to do the same thing as a march will do. Bringing people together and stuff, and stay engaged.
Nothing wrong with marching. Nothing wrong with it,
but you got to get engaged. Yeah.
But you got to go in there and talk to these people, on a civil level, in a professional way, and then keep them hold them accountable, and then write letters and explain. Even if you go in a corporation, I found out if you write enough letters to CEOs or presidents of companies, they're going to respond. They're going to respond.
And they don't expect us to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. And if we turn around and start doing other things and stuff to stay engaged or whatever, then we're going to be okay. It's just like the Democratic Party and stuff now. They lost in 2010. They lost a lot of state houses. They lost a lot of things because they were not engaged in the local election. And they lost that motto that we knew about a long time ago. Politics is local.
That's right. Absolutely.
Politics is local. And if you don't get involved in the local portion of it, then you can't affect the national portion of it.
That's
so
right.
Stay involved in that local thing, get involved politically, locally, and then you're going to be a lot more powerful. So,
well,
yeah,
I know.
Don't get our health and wellness now.
Our health and wellness now. My take on that is one of the things that that I think that really helps people is fasting. fasting is one of the healthiest things you can do. Now, when I was in my 20s, I used to fast 3, 7 days. I even tried to do 21 days a few times. But there's all kind of fasting. You can do plain fast, which is water. And some people don't drink water. Now, you have to drink water at a certain period of your time. I've went, as much as 3, 4, 5 days without just no water, no food. And what that does is cleanses your body. Now, some people might want to do it on a spiritual tip, because basically that's what I do, when I fast. And sometimes I do it for a healthy, to sort of kind of cleanse my body. And you just drink water and no food. And then some people fast as far as juicing, a juice fast. And what it does is it really sort of kind of has your body heals itself, because you're not putting a lot of toxins in your system, and you sort of kind of giving your body a rest from, like, if you eat meat, or anything like that, it sort of kind of cleanses your body and helps you, your body heal itself by not eating food. Now, what I do now is I don't fast as much as I used to, but what I do now, the first of the month, I usually fast at least 1 to 3 days. And that's every month, and basically I do it for spiritual purposes, and I do it for health purposes. And so those people that are spiritual, you can fast, and it gives you a better connection, a closer connection to the higher power, and I think that's one of my things as far as on the holistic health fasting. Do your research on it. There's a lot of things on it. Like I say, I've known people that fast for 21 days, and of course, Dick Gregory fasted all kind of ways, and is, for a year he fasted just on juices. So
yeah, I don't know if I can do all that fasting and stuff too, but I do.
You can do it for a half a day.
I have done it for half a day now. That's quite a bit of times I don't eat anything for a half a day. I have something in the morning, and I don't have anything until in the evening time, and then have something real small and stuff there, maybe a salad or some fruit or something like that before I can go to bed or whatever. But I do that. My wife, she makes sure that the most important meal and stuff in our lives and stuff is our breakfast. She makes sure we have a good breakfast of vegetables in our breakfast. And people don't realize I do that. We have
what kind of breakfast? What kind of vegetables you have for breakfast?
We have an omelet. My wife fixes omelets and stuff every day, and she puts broccoli in them sometimes, and spinach and stuff in it. Other kinds of vegetables and stuff she will put into our omelets, and fix the omelet and stuff, and then we'll eat it. And there's something real light, and she all makes sure that she cooks it in olive oil or grapeseed oil, which doesn't have those polyunsaturates and all the other stuff, and heavy things are going on. And we found out that we can lose weight and stuff by doing that. Have a good breakfast and stuff in the morning, and then you okay and stuff for the rest of the day. And then in the evening time and stuff, we have she might have some tea, green tea, or other kinds of tea and stuff that we'll have, and put honey in it. And you put the honey in there, and that sweetens our tea and everything. We just drink it, and maybe have some more vegetable, green beans or something and stuff in the evening time and everything. And so we okay. So that's what we do. Also, I wanted to mention to our audience and stuff out there that the healthcare enrollment period is still going on and stuff now. And we found out that even though our 45 has tried to get rid of the healthcare program, it is still out there, and that there are people and stuff who are enrolling in the healthcare program.
Well, they broke records, haven't they, as far as signing up?
They signed up, and the good thing about it is that there are private organizations out there who have committed themselves to tell people about the healthcare enrollment, to show them and to guide them as to where they need to go. And a lot of people need to realize when you go to Walmart, they have a desk and stuff sitting down there for healthcare. You can come over there and sit down at that desk there when you go to Walmart and enroll in healthcare. There are organizations and stuff out there that work for the administration and stuff and everything, they have decided to volunteer their resources and everything to help people to get enrolled and stuff into the healthcare program. The only problem and stuff that we're finding out now is that, and I've written an article and stuff about it, is that our premiums and stuff, for healthcare by providers and stuff is starting to rise. Unbeknownst and stuff.
It's being sabotaged, man. It's being sabotaged.
It's being sabotaged, and it is not boding well and stuff and everything for 45 and Republicans there in Congress and stuff, and people are seeing that. And if you notice and stuff, in these past elections that happened over there in Virginia and some of these other ones around the country, Democrats and stuff are starting to win seats because people are realizing that what the Republicans and stuff are doing is not right. So that's another part. Yeah,
people get engaged.
Another part of staying engaged and understanding what the heck is going on, and that is affecting their bottom line, especially the retirees and stuff who are being retired and stuff now, man, taking away from their monies from their Medicare, 10 or $15 billion they pulling out of the Medicare program or whatever. That's not good. These senior citizens and stuff have worked almost all their lives, and they want to have a comfortable retirement. And they can't have this stuff now because they're constantly fighting the government and everything for basic needs, healthcare, medicine, and stuff like that, and everything. It's not easy to be a senior citizen and stuff right now because a lot of them don't know how to go out and find out about what's going on. So we want you to do that. Now we got another thing that we came up important here. This month starts our holiday season. Thanksgiving and Christmas. And during these times, there are people out there, crooks, thieves, or whatever you want to call them, scam artists, who are lurching around there trying to take your money. And we want our audience and stuff to realize this, that there are scams going on, and they are going to, as the days go by and the holiday seasons and stuff get up on us, these scam artists and stuff are going to be there, and you need to be aware that it is going on.
Watch how you answer the phone and
how you answer the phone, everything. You have to be aware, and then be aware that you have businesses and stuff out there who are out there to make their money, because most of us need to realize that. I remember 15, 20 years ago, nobody started talking about Christmas until after Thanksgiving. Well, they got Christmas stuff coming up right now.
Absolutely.
So even though these companies are legal companies or whatever out there, and they are trying to make money, and I can't blame them for doing this, because the holiday season is where most of these companies and stuff make the most money. And during the holiday season and stuff, what happens and stuff during the holiday season drives what goes on there in the marketplace, drives what happens there in Wall Street. So they have an obligation and stuff to keep their shareholders and stuff profitable. They have an obligation to make sure that their business and stuff are profitable. And I understand that. So be aware that, be frugal and stuff out there. Don't spend all of your money for the holiday buying gifts and stuff and everything that you cannot afford. And
well, one of the things that I wanted to, I totally agree with that, what you're saying, but I don't do it as much because now I don't, all my kids are grown and everything, and we don't do a lot of things, but just for our grandkids now, but basically what we do is we do like what we call as we pull names, and everybody just get one gift. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And you tell them what, whoever names you pull, you get their little list of what they want, and you might keep it to $50, $100, or whatever you want to. And then therefore you're limited as far as how much money you're going to spend. Mm-hmm. You buying gifts for 20 people, you didn't blow, you can spend $500, $600,
$4,000. No more than that.
More,
more. So especially with all these electronic items and stuff out there that these kids want.
I mean, we buy for the kids.
When you got an iPhone, or another phone that costs over $1,000 for a daggone phone, And
Yeah.
these kids are saying, "Oh, I want a phone. I want this iPhone because this is what I need." And
And,
you're only going to have it for a year,
yeah.
or break it.
Yeah, the holidays, is a special time, for family and what have you. So you want it to be a good experience, for the younger children. But at a certain age, if you're 16, 17 years old, go out and get your job. And make your own money and make your own money and buy your own stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You call that? What you call the article you had out there? You have to hustle.
You got to hustle.
You got to hustle. You got to hustle. Come out there. I read that article there, and we want our audience to go out there and read these blog articles that we have, because we talking about all kinds of things about making money. And that was one of them that you had written about going out there and hustling. You had a paper route and other kind of stuff and everything that made you money. Yeah.
Delivering groceries, whatever.
And we did that, Ted. I can remember doing the same thing you did, going around and standing at the grocery store, sitting outside with a wagon, and having the older people come out and say, "Hey, I'll help you take your groceries to home and everything with you, and walk them up the stairs." And people appreciate it. You only made a couple of dollars, maybe a quarter or 50 cents and stuff doing it, but hey,
it adds up. It adds
up. So we did hustle. So we want everybody to understand that our kids and stuff need to know how to get out there and make money.
Make money.
Make their own money. So also, before we end the show and everything, I want to make sure that we wish our audience a happy Thanksgiving, that they all sit down and together as a family and celebrate this past year. I know that there's been some horrible things going on in our country.
Horrible things.
Our country's in a bad thing, but Thanksgiving, the day of giving, whatever, and such, celebrating what's been going on. There are some good things that have been going on out there, and we need to make sure that family had come together.
Well, we don't want to forget one thing, though. That's the big connection. Believe in God connection with the word for the day. And what I chose for the day is Matthew 5:48. Okay. Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. So now, a lot of people say, well, I can't be perfect. I mean, I'm trying to do better. When you know better, you do better.
Okay.
In order way you're going to know better is that you got to read something, like me, I read the Bible. I read a lot of self-help books to try to help me do better. So when you know better, you do better. And, we talked about morals, and, morals is really just doing the right thing. And perfect, that word perfect, when I ran reference on that scripture, Ephesians 5:1, it says, imitate God. Now, who was the biggest example of God, which was God in him, who was walking as a man and God, was Jesus Christ. So if you imitate Jesus Christ, you're going to be all right. So that's the main thing. That's perfection. Strive for perfection. Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. And you're going to do the right thing. Back in the 80s, when they used to have those little bracelets, what would Jesus do? Maybe they should come back out with that. Maybe that'll help some people, because I ain't feeling a whole lot of love that's going around in this country these days. What would Jesus do? Even if you don't believe in Jesus, look at some of the things that he said about how to treat people. I ain't gonna preach, but I could say a whole lot of things what he said, so the point is that strive for perfection every day. Try to be better than what you was yesterday. Yeah. So anyway,
I was looking over here, Ted, at some things and stuff that I read and stuff this morning, and our Michelle Obama did a interview with some people over in on the think in Connecticut or something, and she gave forth some ideas and stuff about how people should, our folks and stuff, being stressed out this year and how they need to take care of themselves. And she had about 7 items and stuff that she spoke about. And they asked, and the person and stuff who did that went before and asked a medical professional, person who deals with people's health and well-being, and asked them what she said. Is that those some good things? And to the person and stuff, all of them who they spoke to, I think they spoke to about 4 of them. They all said, yeah, that those things that she spoke about. And I was trying to find them over here in my book there, but my news feed and everything is constantly bringing up new stuff and everything, so I couldn't find it stuff over there. I wanted to let people know what the heck she said, but since that 2 hours ago when they had put it out there, it's gone. So, but it was some very good advice and stuff for people out there, and one of them was to vote, and one of them was to talk about politics and everything, and that, don't take those things and stuff personally into yourself. You have to do things that are positive, do things that you know are right. And like you said, as long as you're doing things that you know is right, then you should be okay. You should be able to keep your mental health. You should be able to go out there and function and stuff in this world, as long as you can do some of those things and stay proactive. She says, make sure that you are involved, like we're talking about here, without engagement things. Stay involved and work hard and do the things that you know is right, and work with things that you can control. If you can't control something, then leave it alone. Don't let it bother you.
There you go.
As long as you can't control anything that you can control, then you do what you do to control it. But if you can't control it, then there's nothing that you can do. You can't let it stress you. Can't let it stress you out.
There you go.
So,
with that, I think anything else you want to add on?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you. Is there anything else we need to talk about? But
I got a lot more things, but we've been, we usually, have our show for about an hour. I think we went maybe a couple of minutes over, but we've covered a lot.
Oh yeah, we covered a whole lot. So we want to let our audience know that we will see them next week. And again, have a happy Thanksgiving. And my last word to you all is bye-bye, and don't stress yourself out. See you next time.
All right.
Bye.